How's it going, everybody? My name is M2Dragons, and welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet for the Nintendo Switch. We're all up last time. We defeated Tulip of the Alpernata Gym. And now in this part, we would be taking on the Glaciato Gym, because that's the last gym, but I've never went and explored two major areas of Paldea. And I want to actually use this episode to explore those areas before I take on the Glaciato Mountain Gym. Because I think this would be the right time to actually do that now that we have all the abilities to even explore those parts here. But first off, as you can see, I'm taking a bit of a detour in Inlet Grotto, which was the very first cave of the game that we explored. And we didn't really properly explore it. Our main goal the first time that we were there is to just get out of that cave, and well, I wanted to show it off properly. So there's the Inlet Grotto. It's just basically you just click items, and that's pretty much it. And now here we are. We're gonna go to South Province Area 5, one of the more earlier areas that you could have went to, ideally after the first two gyms, because you could go in here. You could go to South Province Area 5 very early and find yourself kind of underleveled in order to take on this area, but because of that, these fights are going to be very easy. So, yeah, South Province Area 5, pretty large area. There's a lot to see. It's kind of split into two parts. The first part is kind of this whole canyon looking area that's part of the South Province Area 3, I think that's the number, which is to the right of Mesa Goza. To the right from the school, to the left from the entrance of Mesa Goza. And yeah, it's near the second gym, basically. So, it's not very far from here. It also connects to South Province Area 1. So yeah, we're just gonna explore this, first part here. Over here's the Watchtower. You get yourself that little TM right there, and then over here's a Gimmighoul. And then, there's another trainer over there. And I already went over the Pokemon in, South Province Area 5. The first time that we were here, because the first time that we were only here for a very brief moment. The only reason we were here, the first time that we were in this area, is to catch one of our earlier teammates, and that was Wyatt the Wattrell. So, the Pokemon you can find here, you can find Axew, Dragon type, you can find Bagon, you can find Clodsire, which is the evolved form of the Paldean Wooper. Ground Poison, I believe that's the type that is. You can find Crabrawler, you can find Deerling in a bunch of different forms. You can find Flamigo, Fletchender. You can find Flittle, Gumshoes, Luxio, the evolved form of Shinx. I like this Pokemon. Mankey, one of the OGs. Love this Pokemon. Marill, again, another one of the OGs. I really like this Pokemon, the evolved form of Azurill. It is a fairy type in this generation. Actually, it becomes a fairy type from Gen 6 and onwards. You can find Mudbray, Masquerain, you can find Oinkalong, Pachirisu, Pincurchin, Rockruff, Sandy Gas, Viper. You can find Skiddo, Skiploom, the evolved form of Hoppip. Not a very good Pokemon. Do not catch this Pokemon. It's a terrible Pokemon. You find Slowpoke, Stantler, Surskit, Swablu, Tadbolt, Vigoroth, Wattrell, another one, which is, a Pokemon that I have used or using on my team, and then you can find yourself a Zangoose. It's a very large list of Pokemon. I did, of course, go over this list the first time that we were here, but, I didn't really have a way to, at that time, I didn't have a good way to structure the LP, and now that I had an idea of how I want to structure the LP as the LP went on, I can actually properly go over the Pokemon lists like this. And so we're about wrapping up the first half of South Province Area 5. You can go a bit over here below that little bridge right there, grab yourself that item, and now we are making our way to the other half of South Province Area 5, kind of near the area where we found ourselves our Watrel. And this whole field here in itself is very large. And again, if you continue the path here and use your abilities that we've learned from Miraidon, then it'll take you back to South Province Area 1. So it kind of connects to some of the earlier areas, and if you tried to explore this in your earliest convenience, then you'd get yourself in a little bit of trouble because the Pokemon here will give you a bit of a hard time. But in my case here, since my Pokemon are in the 60s range, and we are exploring this late instead of earlier than intended, these Pokemon aren't going to really pose much of a challenge. Neither are these trainer fights, and there are tough trainers. And the biggest threat that the tough trainers will pose is, well, if I somehow mess up in choosing a wrong move or something like that. But that's pretty much it. But I just wanted to show you guys what South Province Area 5 looks like here. So go ahead and collect a few more items around over here. Actually, a bunch of items, more or less here. Lots of items. Refilling our arsenal here. You should never really be too much of a concern about items here, as long as you are at a very decent level and strategically planning out your battle strategies. Which kind of just obsoletes the shops here, the item shops. Except for maybe X items, because X items don't really come around that much, and the X items are really good, so, you know, stacking yourself up with some X items is a pretty good thing, in my opinion. Alright, another trainer over here that we're going to go ahead and take on, who has a Flamigo. Go ahead and take you out, there we go. I've actually started watching speedruns of this game now that I have finished the game quite a while ago as of recording this, and they do use Flamigo throughout the entirety of the game. I don't even know how good it is. I imagine it's pretty good if speedrunners are using Flamigo throughout the entirety of a 5.5-hour game, which is a pretty long game. This game is very massive, as you can probably tell from the episode number or whatever it may be. I don't even know off the top of my head as of recording this right now. Go ahead and collect more items right there, and then if you go ahead and climb up, I guess, couldn't really tell what was going on there. It's going so fast. Maybe I sped up the video too fast or something. I don't even know. And then we go ahead and approach ourselves another trainer over here, and who has a shelter. Next up is Knackley. Going to take you out with an earthquake. And there we go. That is what we like to see here. Sweeping all these trainer battles here. These underwhelming fights that would be challenging had I explored this very early. There's some more Giving Ghoul coins as well. And then that is a Terrasilize Pokemon that you could find normally in Glacial Mountain. Pretty insane, if you ask me. Found myself a rare bone, some more berries in the hidden grass. And then we go ahead and continue exploring around. We get this little trainer over here. You might notice I'm actually just cutting around all over the place. And you can kind of gauge on the bottom right corner there on the mini-map to kind of gauge where exactly I'm at. Because I'm not going to really show myself just moving all over the place. I'm just, you know, showing off the kind of the item locations as well as the trainer locations, because really I think that's all that you are exploring some of these areas for. That way it moving around doesn't really get too redundant here. So go ahead and make your way there, get yourself some nice hidden items there, some feathers, more items, lemonade on that ground right there, and then over here there's a Terra Raid if you want to do some Terra Raid battles with some people, if that is your thing. And then we go ahead and battle this trainer here who has a Snom. Take you out. There we go, just like that. And then over here, if we go, continue going around, just gonna go and collect some even more items. And then after that, we're gonna go ahead and make our way into this little swamp area. Looks like a swamp, or more like a place that you use to grow crops or something. Even though it's, I wouldn't really say it's a farm, but this is like the best place over here where you can find flamingos. If you want a really good Pokemon to use on your team, that is. So, go ahead and take care of that guy right there. He says that he calls his Pokemon monsters, which, well, they kind of are monsters. I mean, Pokemon is short for pocket monsters, so yeah, they are monsters. Alright, so we make it to the end here, the beach area. And this is where we found our Wattrell the first time that we were here. And now this is where we're actually going to start doing our exploring here. We're doing part of our exploring in an area known as Paldean Sea. So, I'm also going to be exploring a little bit of the Paldean Seas, all 4 parts of the Paldean Sea. Starting out with the South Paldean Sea. Every part of the Paldean Sea will have 1 trainer for you to fight, and I just fought that 1 trainer of Southern Paldean Sea, as well as get a bunch of items. So there we go. Go ahead and explore a little beach part over here. And if you go behind Cabo Poco, as it's called actually, I kind of mispronounced it in the last video. And get a couple more items there. And then over here, if you go to the edge of Asado Desert, then you'll make your way to West Paldean Sea. So we're actually going to take a look at West Paldean Sea. There's a little bit more to see in West Paldean Sea. Lots of items here that we're going to go ahead and check out here. There's a bit of some stronger Pokemon than some of the Pokemon that we were encountering back in Southern Province Area 6. Well, 5, actually. 6 is where the Pokemon are actually really strong. But, this is the West Paldean Sea. And on this pretty large island, got plenty of items here. And then I believe there's a trainer here. Yep, there's a trainer over here of this part. We're going to go ahead and take him on. Well, as a Dragonair, didn't pose much of a problem. Okay, there we go. Grab that TM for Air Slash, which is a move that I might consider teaching to Wyatt. Then we go ahead and continue on this little island over here. Grab some more TMs there. One of them was a TM for Flash Cannon. And I believe this is actually... Yeah, okay, so we are now in North Paldean Sea. West Paldean Sea is kind of nearby North Paldean Sea, as far as these islands are concerned. So we're just gonna check out this part here and see what we got here. A big nugget right over there. And then if you actually go to the very edge over here, in this very deep corner, and there's a little shore, mini shore over here, grab a couple of items over there. And then we go ahead and make your way to more of these islands. This is actually nearby, where is this nearby? I believe this is nearby the Team Star base. That's closest to Glacial Mountain. I think Ortega's base. I think this is nearby Ortega's base here. We go ahead and make our way around this large island over here. You'll encounter yourself a trainer over here who says like this entire world is basically her office. Okay, that was a little concerning. I heard something outside. Right there's a TM for Crunch. I didn't even know Crunch was a TM in this game. But, yes it is. Pretty crazy. Alright, and then over here, this is the East Paldean Sea. And the East Paldean Sea has only like 1 island to see. Well, actually, no, there's 2 islands. This one really large island, and then there's a small island here. This island here has quite a lot going on here, as there's a bunch of items for you to check out. as well as a trainer over here that we're going to go ahead and fight. You might notice I'm not going to explore the entirety of the Paldean Sea, because most of it is just water, and that's unexciting. Just to see me surf on a bunch of water. Alright, so there we go. That is all the Paldean Sea, and now we're going to another area known as Socarrat Trail. And this is part of Castoria Lake. Like the end of Castoria Lake. And this is kind of like a mini area that I have not explored. But you can explore it. There was nothing stopping me from exploring it, but I wanted to wait until I was a little bit more leveled enough to take it on. It is still the same level of Pokemon that you could find in Castoria Lake, but I was already suffering taking on the Pokemon in Castoria Lake. So I decided to hold up on Socarrat Trail for a bit. So, this would actually be a good time to talk about the Pokemon that you can find in Socarrat Trail. The Pokemon that you can find here is Fortress, which is the evolved form of Pineco. It is unfortunately not a very good Pokemon. Please don't use it. It is a bug steel type, so that's nice. I generally like steel Pokemon, but Fortress, I'm not really a fan of Fortress. Next up you can find Heracross, which is a bug fighting type. I don't usually use bug types, but Heracross is amazing. I would recommend using Heracross. You can find Slacking, which is the evolved form of Slack Off. You can find Sudowoodo, which I believe you can find in some of the earlier routes as well, but it is the first time that it has shown up here on my notes. You can find Zorora, the evolved form of Zorora, and I like this Pokemon. Really cool. Lurantis, Bramble Ghost. The evolved form of that tumbleweed Pokemon that I already don't remember the name of it. You can find Toad's Cool. They're just the evolved form of Toad's Cool. You can find Raichu, the evolved form of Pikachu. Leafeon, Amoonguss, which is the evolved form of Fungus. You can find... what does this say? Fomantis, Graphii, and Tinkaton. So some very nice Pokemon you can find in this place, and yeah, so there's not much really to explore here. There's a few trainers, so go ahead and fight a few trainers, collect a few items, a few more items. Go up on this little hill right here, grab that little HP up, and then the last thing to explore is this little mountain, this very large mountain. And all there really is a few items. And then after that, it's basically just going back to Glaciotta Mountain and take on the gym there. So that's pretty much everything that I want to explore of Paldea. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.